loot bet say exactly what we were saying in the pregame. This is a very, very close matchup. However, they're slightly favoring the Blue Jays going into this one. So, maybe they know something that we don't. But either way, it's looking like a very, very close game.
Right into the pistol round as we bounce into this first half. Just USPSs for the IZAKO Boars in a bit of a fast stance, right down Pop Dog for Red Star. Just trying to get that preliminary information onto the A site, trying to deprive the Poles of that bit of map control, but they're taking it elsewhere, digging themselves all into A main. They should know that this is towards the B site here, and realistically, 2 defenders to hold this one up. It all comes down to the headshots to start. That Molotov smoke combination, oh, it's going to be perfect. And they should get a C4 down off the back of this. Nobody from the Poles to prevent this C4 from going down and away. 2 quick kills for the Blue Jays. Has to be some flawless retaking of this B site if IZAKO Boars is going to stretch the way back onto this one.
I like what the Blue Jays are doing here. Not only have they taken that site, but they're continuing to press forward on the bomb site, making sure there's no chance for that retake to come through, and they're just picking apart the IZAKO Boars right now. Only 1 casualty taken for the Blue Jays side as they pick up the pistol round, and well, I mean, that was pretty stylish. I quite like that. They only lost a man, and it was right at the end of the round as well, when it didn't really matter at all. Very, very clean round from them.
Yeah, that's perfect. That initial information into Pop Dog to know that there's nobody on the fast flank or the rotate for the Poles meant that they were pressured through that single connector angle. As soon as a couple of frags come through, that retake is practically impossible, and the Blue Jays take an early lead to start things off, and that Galil, chiming in for just that first frag is going to put IZAKO Boars on the back foot once again in this force buy second round. It's always a little bit of a risk on this CT side to pick up a couple of deagles here and there. They need to hit headshots galore to start things off. It's instead the scout and the deagle combination to do a little bit of damage and even things up.
Actually a huge whiff from Rocking there to not find that opening frag and allow his teammate to fall, which gives a lifeline for Blue Jays to work with as Avis finds another 1 deag. Now a 2 versus 2. This is absolutely doable, but the absence of a kit in this scenario means that time is of the essence. They have to speed this one up. They don't want to give away their positions, though. They've got the limited firepower. They have to get up close, and Red Star capitalizes, swings out and finds both. And the Blue Jays, well, whilst it came quite close, they retain the 2 AKs. They take the round, and they go into the third with their heads held high, knowing that they're going to be against a full eco now.
Yeah, your sub goal right there on the IZAKO Boars is just to chip in with a little bit of damage, make sure that that Blue Jays economy isn't spiraling and swerving out of control. You see that they keep them honest. Only a couple of $1,000 in the bank at best, with Rocking just having no money to work with. If they lose this third round, it's a round that they absolutely shouldn't be losing against just a nade and a couple of upgraded pistols. This is a ragtag buy for the IZAKO Boars side. And the big question mark is, how much damage can they do? If they find 1 or 2 kills here, that'll be satisfactory. Know how powerful these MAC-10s, of course the AK-47s can often be. As they're just getting chipped away 1 by 1. Absolutely no damage dealt. Means 4 rifles carried through into round 4 and limited investment needed for Blue Jays.
They're actually not going to buy up anything back into this one, really. The MAC-10's going to upgrade to an AWP, so relatively even buy on both sides. The double AWP setup coming out from the IZAKO Boars, though, and whilst I quite like this, it certainly works on a map like Train. They've actually sacrificed quite a lot of utility to do so, so there's really a huge lack of Molotovs on that side, or I should say the incendiary grenades on that side. Only 1 being picked up by Teo. 2 HEs for them to work with. It might not be sufficient, but as the flash comes through, Sue might be able to open things up onto Rocking. He actually whiffs it. Rocking finds an early freebie for his side. I mean, that's pretty big. That's a huge mistake to give away there for the Boars.
A massively key kill for Rocking. We talked about that Polish talent and the wealth of experience, but Rocking and Dreamer on this Bulgarian side have a lot, if not even more experience than these Poles. They've been playing Counter-Strike way longer than I have. I think some of the first matches I ever casted would have featured the likes of Rocking and Dreamer just playing in a lot of these Bulgarian teams. It's a nice quick fade away from Avis as he backs away towards this bomb train, and the AK's getting cut up. A quick 2K, that drops the C4 in the open. No man's land found, and a pretty convincing round, all things considered, for the Poles.
After they lost that early man, I was starting to question how they were going to manage to pick up that one, but well, they seemed to do so quite comfortably. Didn't lose another after that. Keep 4 players alive. Minimal reinvestment having to come in, and actually they retrieved a couple of AKs in the last 2. So coming into round number 5, they're in a pretty comfortable position, and if they can convert this, it will be a 2-for-1, as the Blue Jays will have no money left in the bank behind them. So IZAKO BOARS definitely sort of picking this one up. I started to question how many rounds the Blue Jays could take off of the start of that. Obviously, with that 3-round lead they took, it was looking like they could have converted that buy round, and if they'd done so, string together some more, really puts IZAKO BOARS on the back foot. This would be a big round for them to convert, though, if they can do so. An early engagement, 4 versus 4.
Traded frags once again. That main aggression from the IZAKO BOARS is not paying. We always talk about this CT side as somewhat of an insurance policy. It has to pay almost every single time. If you're relying on your T side here on Train, you're probably not looking at a winning map. Here, with only a minute left, Avis doesn't have that initial information. As Dreamer swings, he gives away information, but also a big fat headshot to open things up once more. It's Teo versus the world here, and it should be Blue Jays back to winning ways here in round number 5. We'll see them stretch this lead 4-1 ahead. There's really nothing that Teo can do here.
It certainly leads the question of how they're going to pull this one off on the CT side. They have to get a bulk of rounds on this T side to really set themselves up going into the second half. And well, they seem to be doing quite well at the moment, especially considering this is the BOARS' significantly stronger side. To be sitting 4-1 right now, you've essentially reset your opponents again. I think they'll probably invest in a couple of pistols here. In fact, no, they're going for the buy.
It's gamble time, Jay.
Oh, well, fair enough. I mean, they know better than I do, so I get it, but they're against a full buy right now. 4 AKs, an AWP, full util for the Blue Jays side, and well, they're going at them with a couple of M4s and a couple of SMGs. This is a tall order for them to pull this one off, and if they can't, then they're on double eco.
Yeah, this really sucks for BOARS. It'll be 6-1 if they lose this, and it's Rocking. He just opens up these rounds seemingly every single time, perennially a great entry fragger, especially towards this A main and A long position. Teo really has to stretch to get aggressive, and only with an MP9 he's surely going to get isolated. It's another straight pair of headshots to open things up once more. They've still got Rocking again as the insurance from the rear. That Pobtog frag gives them at least a way out, a path away from this A-bomb site, but with Rocking applying the pressure from the rear and Blue Jays already trying to hunt for these final frags, I just can't see how they're going to be able to save this pair of M4s, which is a massively worthwhile investment. This risk, this gamble doesn't pay off. And IZAKO BOARS are going to be stuck 5-1 down, likely 6-1 down after the follow-up eco comes through. We'll likely see Deagled and maybe a couple of sets of armor here and there. Remember, their loss bonus is going to be fully built up at this point. We'll see if this 8K survives. And it absolutely doesn't. Nighty Night. Nexus remaining, and he does survive. So 1 rifle carried through, but nothing else to brag about as we see our first pause of this map.
That M4 being saved could be impactful going into this next. What they've really done there, though, and they didn't even mean to, they were just falling right back to save, is they've actually done a huge amount of damage. They got 4 kills that round, so a huge reinvestment has to come through for the Blue Jays, when actually they could have just kept all of their players alive. Going into this round, they'd have sort of 5-6k in the bank behind the current AKs that they had, and instead they're all having to rebuy, and they're going to have very little in the bank behind them. So actually converting those frags, and I think one of the players ended up dying to the bomb as well on the Blue Jays side. It's going to be very, very costly for them.
I really don't think that they're going to mind too much. You see that Num actually has 5K behind him. I think Rocking also has $5,000. That's after the investment comes in. On this T side, it's often cheaper to buy these rifles. You don't have to invest into the more costly incendiary grenades. Of course, those diffuse kits and those M4A4s, which cost a couple of $100 compared to their AK-47 counterpart, usually stretched for cash a little bit less on this T side. And you also get that additional bonus every time you plant the bomb. Every little helps when it comes to the Counter-Strike economy, as my good friend Tesco says. 5-1 being the scores on the doors here, and a couple of really key shots from Exus to open things up.
It could just be a table turner, of course, a very limited buy for this IZAKO BOARS. He's the one man that saved the M4 in the last, and so far been massively impactful. Blue Jays on the back foot here know that they need to try and level out these numbers. They've got no chance at attacking a site in a 5 versus 3. They need to isolate these fights and find something to work with. Dreamer will be able to get a freebie onto Avis. No trade potential for now as he's hunting for more. Slowly but surely clearing these angles. He should have seen the player on site. He does exactly that. Spots him out, converts the kill, but Exus is there for a third. Finds him on the cross, and Sisjim finds an AK as well. They've actually got plenty to work with here. Yeah, IZAKO BOARS might be able to convert this.
This flank is absolutely massive. Red Star. Oh, he wasn't spotted. Exus, genius to make the turnaround and even find that frag. £1,000,000 of pressure upon Num right here as he wants to deny the Exus ace and also stretch this to 6. Remember, this was a null and void investment. He's been spotted and he's running out of time. He should know that Exus is also here on this A site. The double peek comes through and Exus just going to secure everybody. What was that?
That is absolutely mental. On a round like that, you're able to save an M4, you go into a full eco in the next, and you find yourself an ace. That is absolutely huge and puts IZAKO BOARS right back on the board. This gives us an opportunity to talk about our partner over at Hellcase. Make sure you use the code MALTAV15 for a nice little bonus on your refill over at Hellcase. Be sure to go and check it out.
That code changes every day.
Does it?
I think we've been saying it every day wrong.
Ah, maybe. There's 2 codes that come up, so maybe I say the first one, yeah.
They're trying to bamboozle us.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I will not be fooled. This is a really awkward situation for the Blue Jays to be forced into. You talked about how costly that investment and engagement was, trying to remove all of the rifles in the 6th round from IZAKO BOARS. It was obviously a costly investment for Blue Jays. They're forced onto a Deagle Mac 10. One of those preliminary rifles have fallen. Now they're going to just try and swarm this B site, but the defense is primed and ready. Exus able to sweep away a pair of quick shots. Well, oh, there's a couple of follow-ups. A 2 versus 3.
Now a 1 versus 3 for Dreamer to try and clutch up. It's a tall order with only a gallon in his hand. He's got to take the long fight, and it's not going to work out for him at all. Avis converts it, and the IZAKO BOARS put their 3rd round down, slowly but surely closing this gap. And actually, I don't think Blue Jays are going to have anything left in the bank after this one, so it should go 5-4. I can't imagine they really invest anything into this. Maybe a couple of pistols. That's going to be all. So this should be another freebie for the BOARS. As long as they can keep some players alive as well, it should give them an opportunity to build their own economy.
And that's the power of the CT side here on Train. When you've got a comfortable defense, as soon as you win one of those surprising rounds, it can often switch all of the momentum back in your favor. We see that they've, out of nowhere, crawled up to 3. This could really easily be an even Stevens situation with a bit of a break in pace before we get back into this one. The double op setup, which IZAKO BOARS certainly seems to prefer, comes into full effect. Exus and Avis going to be holstering those 2 snipers. Let me see another quick pause. I would assume that this is technical before we get into what isn't going to be a full investment. It's not going to be a buy round for Blue Jays. This is really throw everything that you have at one of these bomb sites. If you find a couple of kills, then great. A bomb plant, even better.
Really would be. I'm surprised the timeouts are coming in now as well.
I think it's attack.
Possibly. But it shows, when there's a little arrow that shows whose pause it is, that I think that normally means it's a tactical. When it says match paused, I think that's a technical. So I think this is actually a attack pause that they've called, but I'm not sure what the nature of it would really be.
I really like that. That's a great addition to the HUD, if that is true. Because a lot of the time we have to like beg the admins, please tell me who called the pause. But if it tells you on the HUD, that's a really little clever invention.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get a screenshot of a message from a player that says like keyboard broken, and you're like, okay. You sit there for 10 minutes.
Like, yeah, I might as well go make a coffee, get back into this one. 1 minute 20. Ticking down to the 70-second mark, and IZAKO boars seem a lot more comfortable on this CT side here. They're finding a lot of those opening picks. Blue Jays aren't just rolling their way onto these bomb sites, and especially with the pistols, this seems to be an easy-peasy round for the Poles, as these leaders are going to slide through. Oh, and check the angle. Rocking, that's a lightning-fast headshot to hit. Now the AWP under pressure, but comes out on top, turning his back to the competition's not going to be punished temporarily. Right over the rear. Rocking's also going to get found. Should be an easy cleanup for the Poles here. A little bit of extra bonus damage with the bomb all the way out in the open. Avis, he's going to triple up on the damage. Great impactful round with the AWP.
Really nice stuff from him after that opening frag going in the favor of Blue Jays. Actually a really lightning fast headshot, as you say, from Rocking. Avis did very, very well to pick up the pieces. He was really in a difficult position as well. In that sandwich area with an AWP, you can very easily get overwhelmed, but he did very well to just keep composure, take those fights one by one, and came out on top in all of them. So, you know, IZAKO boars comfortably put themselves onto a fourth round. They keep 3 players alive in the last as well. So not a huge reinvestment having to come in, which means that actually 3 of their players right now are sitting around the sort of 4-5K mark, which isn't too bad at all. Now the reinvestment comes in for the Blue Jays, but it's certainly not as strong as what we've seen from them in the past. 5 AKs, limited utility, no HEs or anything like that to work with, an AWP not available as well. It's not the best of buys.
As opposed to the Polish investment, right? They've got this double AWP setup back in hand. That's where they're playing the most comfortable Counter-Strike, where Exodus actually free to go for that opening pick. The Molotov looked like it was going to do the job, but Zix falls on deaf ears. He's going to be eliminated first. With so much time left on this clock, feels like the Blue Jays are being handed just bullets to the face in the opening moments of almost every single engagement. And through the smoke, Avis, it's these AWPs doing all of the heavy lifting here on train.
I love that early pick from Exus. That's so ballsy. The Molotov goes down, and instead of just instantly falling off, you actually sit in it for about 3 seconds, wait for them to peak, and they certainly don't expect you to be there on fire. It does sacrifice 28 HP, but for an opening pick in a round like this, it's definitely worth it. 5 versus 3 now for the IZAKO boars, so definitely the favourable team going into this situation. And the Blue Jays stacked up over towards the B site. 40 seconds left on the clock, and they've got enough utility here for an execute. It's looking like that's exactly what they're going to do, but this Molotov, actually gets extinguished by the smoke. I thought that was going to delay it further. The smoke goes up, Exus repositions, needs to bang one through it. Here we go, Teo can't open up the first, Exus picking up the pieces, but they should be able to get a plant here.
This AWP incredibly influential from the top lines. Red Star gets his head blown off, and it's all down to Rocking. He needs to put up a masterclass in the 1 versus 4, especially considering everybody from IZAKO boars has a hit in hand. Avis going to be the first to just, well, take a little bit of aggression. Rocking cleans at least the first up. This pop flash shouldn't really get the job done, considering he's walking into a triple stack situation. And absolutely doesn't. The score is even as we hit round number 11.
All tied up, 5-5 now. The Blue Jays, despite coming out the gates hot, they were looking like they were causing their opponents a lot of problems. Gaps now being closed and they appear to be struggling. And this round as well, whilst a small investment comes in, all the players have got Kevlar, a couple with the helmets, a couple of pistols being pulled out. There's no utility, there's not a lot for them to work with. So I think best case scenario, a couple of kills, maybe a bomb plant. That's really what they're looking for here, but ultimately it should go 6-5 to the IZAKO Boars. The danger is that they're getting really aggressive over towards Ivy. Ava should be able to find an opener, but does he get the follow-up? No, he doesn't. Dreamer responds with a snappy headshot. It is traded out, so the man advantage still retained for the IZAKO Boars side, but that 1D going to level things out back 3-on-3.
Realistically, shouldn't be the most exciting round, but with the Blue Jays hitting a flurry of opening shots, puts a lot of pressure on Exus's AWP upon this bomb train, just sliding around the side. A messy spray down finishes things, and the Deagles don't get the job done. Blue Jays slip behind an extra round, and it really feels like all of the momentum is on this Polish side right here. I think they've won... Well, they've definitely won 6 out of the last 8, considering Blue Jays took that early 3-0 lead. That was a long time ago, though. And considering they always feel confident on this T side of train, I think they're going to need a couple more before this one finishes off. Just considering they're not massively comfortable on the CT side, right? I think the IZAKO Boars are at least going to have some equity, especially in those early half rounds when you're scrapping for money, trying to prevent your opponents from having buys in hand. It's usually what we see over the first 3 to 5 rounds of regulation. I love that nade stack. Shui just holds the line, and it's a pair of headshots. Zix and Rocking hit the deck. Jen gets completely flashed out of dodge, and he's getting sprayed from all angles right here. How is he still alive? Just trying to run distraction for as long as possible, but this is going to fall apart once more. Numb versus all 3. That aggressive peek found, and IZAKO Boars put yet another one on the board. I love this.
Very, very nice pair of headshots, especially after the nades come through. Again, it's just the balls on these players to not fall back there, to actually hold the angle. At that point, once the nade stack comes through, you know that they're going to be dropping. So really, really nice stuff. Timeout comes through for the Blue Jays then. I think they should be investing into this one. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be, well, limited on Zix, but let's see what he can pull out. I think maybe he just goes for an AK here and has the limited utility. His teammates have got enough money behind them that they can kind of make up for that. That's exactly what he's going to do. No helmet for him, though. Instead opts for the Molotov. That could definitely be costly. The timeout runs out, though. We are going to be going into round number 13. It is, of course, going to be another buy round, but the Blue Jays, when they go for their ecos, they never seem to go for full ecos. They always invest a little bit into it, whether it be pistols, whether it be some Kevlar, some utility, and it means that there's not a single player on that side that saves up for that AWP. And in their buy rounds, it's then not available. They're just running a 5-rifle setup to make this work. And well, right now with Rocking charging straight out, takes huge damage, already down to 4 HP, and Nade would finish him off. And this is dangerous right now already.
Certainly a comfort pick from the IZAKO Boars. Finally, a little bit of damage dealt. Applies a slither of pressure upon this A site. Shui once again decides to clamber on top of this blue train. It's such an advantageous position if it's not overchecked. And really, it has to be hard checked. You need to specifically look and spray towards this side of the map to force them out of position. With these smokes fully placed, it's going to prevent the angles that Blue Jays can come from. He's going to try and fall away here. What a headshot to start things off. He's down to just 7 HP and trying to take the gun duel against Rocking, who's up above. He doesn't want to get too aggressive considering he alone is on tiny HP, and Shui able to dub it up. I can't believe it right now. He finds 3 shots. How does he stay alive for so damn long? he's in just an impossible position there, right? With Blue Jays swarming him, they don't overface. And that becomes a massive problem as the clock starts to tick down, the bomb falling into no man's land, and the Blue Jays look totally lost there on the A site take.
It would have certainly been a completely impossible position had Avis not had his back. He had his back against the train, and a T-player was coming in from Ivy, so he just gets flanked there after he gets that first kill. Flank comes through, it's traded out, but Avis is watching that cross, so he gets that shot on the player that's trying to flank in. The last player on E-Box then just has to swing and try and take the jewel to bring it into a one-on-one, and he loses it. So very, very nice stuff, and these players just really complementing each other in those situations where they're on the back foot and, well, they just put themselves in the perfect positions to clutch it up in this round. Well, they're just making easy work of the Blue Jays, aren't they? Just not even a single point of damage being dealt right now. All just falling apart. And Numb, I mean, if he lands himself a shot here, it's an M4 out the way, but it's not going to happen. Shui picks it up, and the IZAKO Boars put themselves at 9-5. This is not the start the Blue Jays would have wanted.
This sucks. Of course, economic damage was never going to matter, considering IZAKO Boars have bags of cash coming into this final round of the half. It's all about what this Blue Jays buy looks like, just to put one more on the board. Feels like a lifetime ago since they were able to get to 5, and, well, since that position, they just weren't able to put anything more together. This 9-6 feels like a bit of a pipe dream, especially considering Exus is just nailing these shots and doing tremendous number of damage. Quickly gets shut away, though. And as the bomb does slalom towards B, blocking hitting yet another shot, it's going to be taken completely out of the equation. Zix doesn't turn. Bit of miscommunication perhaps from the Blue Jays in the final round here on Train.
Sisgen getting up close and personal there and picking apart the Blue Jays side. A 1 versus 3 now for Dreamer to clutch up. Certainly a tall order, but the bomb is somewhat retrievable. That smoke's going to give Shui a limited sight line, and Dreamer's going to capitalize on it. 2 versus 1 now for him to work with as he actually rotates over towards A. That Molotov's going to allow him to get this bomb down as well. He's got a very good chance here when he really shouldn't have.
I'd love to see IZAKO Boars play this as a pair, just waiting for Shane to get into position, isolate Dreamer in the 1 versus 2, safety and numbers on the CT side. And Dreamer always primed and ready for this angle, but makes a hell of a lot of noise, and Ava's definitely going to hear it. That's the half over, double digits for the Poles.
Well, a very nice final round initially from the IZAKO Boars. It got a little bit messy towards the end, but I mean, quite frankly, what have they just done? They've picked up 8, 9 in a row. Yeah. Really, really clean stuff from their CT side. And as they go onto the T, they've definitely given themselves a nice little buffer to work with. The Blue Jays going onto the CT side, the side that they're historically not all too comfortable on. They certainly have to pick up this pistol round if they want a good chance of converting this. And, well, especially some more to follow on top of that as well. They close this gap as early as they can, and then we've still got a game on our hands. Otherwise, if the IZAKO Boars just can continue this momentum, I mean, that's 9 rounds in a row right there. That nice long blue streak on that scoreboard. If they continue that momentum, it's going to be a very, very fast best of 1.
Yeah, that T side was a train wreck. Sometimes you feel like you can just schmooze your way onto one of these bomb sites. On Train, that's not often possible. They're so difficult, especially against the double AWP setup, to even get a bomb down the majority of the time. And the IZAKO Boars, as soon as they got their money in check and in order, it felt like it was just all about them. Quickly chaining together 9 consecutive rounds. If they take the pistol here, this map, this best of 1, might be very quickly over. It's time to shine for the Blue Jays on this CT side. And, well, it's a bit of a gamble to start things off. A couple of kills, quickly securing that bomb, and down within Pop Dog. And it is a shutdown here.
There's a complete shutdown indeed. The final headshot goes through onto Avis, and, well, the odds from our partner over at LootBet show that the IZAKO Boars are the hot favourites coming into this second half off of the back of that 9-round consecutive lead that they took in the first. They are switching up a little as the Blue Jays has just taken the pistol round. Their chances heavily increase off the back of that, but Well, it's still favouring that T side, of course.
A force buy from the Boars. Considering they didn't get the bomb down in that previous, this makes some sense. Invest everything, save in the third. You've got a little bit of equity into this one. I think the Blue Jays are very aware. They've gone for the rifles incredibly quickly. Not a single SMG on the defense means they're not looking to farm this cash. They're looking to keep just as many players alive as possible. Easier said than done against the Deagles. Avis starts things off strong. That FAMAS is tremendously bad at range, and they get completely cleaned up. Only 1 kill's worth of damage for the IZAKO Boars to start things off, and it doesn't look to be getting much better at the 70-second mark.
They've dealt a whole lot of damage, and Teo's position, well, he could have got himself at least 1, possibly even 2 frags there, but can't quite convert it. Shane, in the meantime, finds himself 1. 2 low players here. He could have done some more damage, but he's not allowed a whole lot more than that. The Deagles, they looked promising at the start, but it slipped away from them. The Blue Jays now slowly but surely closing this gap. There's 3 rounds in it, and as we go into round number 18, they're on a full buy, and the same can't be said for the Boars. Nothing in the bank for them, and well, they're not going to invest anything into this round. A pistol, a little bit of Kevlar, that's going to be all. So this should be a clean one for the Blue Jays to pick up, and then we'll be within 2.
Should be an easy cleanup for the Blue Jays. Again, to close that scoreline. We often say that these CT side comebacks are very, very possible. I'm surprised that the odds were so one-sided just off the back of that one. Nevertheless, 10-8, scoreline closes once again. We'll see the first T-sided buy round come out of the polls here. We pick up that early AWP. Looks like Shem will be picking that one through. We'll see. Is it going to be Axis instead? I think they're just deciding right here and now. We do see Num responding with an AWP of his own. Trading up that scout, wanting full firepower into this all-important first round. And well, there goes the opening frag.
Very nice opener for the IZAKO Boars. It was something that we really didn't see from Blue Jays on their T side. They very rarely had an AWP pulled out, and meant that those opening frags often didn't go their way. So, minute 25 on the clock now. The IZAKO Boars starting to group up over towards B, and it's looking like that's where they're going to try and get that bomb down. A little bit of a fake coming in from Ivy, keeping the they actually just walk straight in, no utility, just the headshot, and now a 2-man advantage. Zik's in a fantastic position to try and find himself something, but he's unable to deny the plant, and his teammates are falling around him. I can't imagine there's anything Blue Jays can do here to come back into this round.
No, the call has come in. Save, save, save. AWP, a massively influential sniper rifle to carry through into the further buy rounds. We see that Blue Jays will actually have a little bit of cash to go for this further reinvestment. Rocking and Dreamer, I should say, certainly have enough to go for back-to-back investments, and I think there'll be a little bit of bonus cash, whether it's Zix or somebody else to pick up a Deagle or an SMG here or there. The 20th will certainly be a buy round for the Blue Jays. They'll probably just spend all of their cash into this one. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Rocking drop 2 rifles instead of just the 1 to ensure that everybody gets buy in hand, and instead he goes for the double sniper setup. So a bit of a change of pace here for the Blue Jays, and I've got to say, I really do like this. The double sniper rifles really do work on a map like Train. It's obviously the map that reinvented how we used AWPs in CSGO, right from the offset, to be perfectly honest. Seemingly another fast round for the Boars, though.
Double sniper investment paying off right now, and they need to make sure they continue to apply this pressure. They've seen what can happen when you allow the IZAKO Boars to get a rhythm and string a few rounds in a row. Of course, in the first half, after going 5-1 down, they pulled back 9 in a row to take the 10-5. Blue Jays desperately trying to deny that right now as their opponents are 5 away from that magic number 16. Dreamer is good for 1. Levels things back out into a 3-on-3. All things balanced now, but the bomb is going to go down. I mean, the IZAKO boards are in a really difficult situation here, but it's absolutely doable.
I love that Molotov. It shuts away Chewy, and he cannot go for any repeats. Instead, leaves Shen vulnerable on this A-bomb train, or this B-bomb train, I should say, before he goes for a not too ill-advised peek. Rocking's going to punish it nonetheless. There is a Molotov in hand to temporarily prevent this defuse from coming through. No smoke in hand for the first, and there's the AWP eviscerated. He will have to peek into Num's sniper scope, though, and it all comes down to whether he hits this shot, and he absolutely does. Round over.
Oh, no.
The bomb is going to explode. How did the Blue Jays blunder that?
Dreamer let go? So
He
when Shui peaked and the shot fired off, he actually let go, and then that was it. It just a panic moment. You let go of E. Wow, that is such a horrendous round for them to give up. Yeah, timeout comes through. What on earth was that?
And according to that top little bar, it's the IZAKO boards have called the timeout. So maybe giving the Blue Jays a little time to ponder that one. Hey, think about that for a couple of minutes. How bad do you feel? How do you feel?
Really let him stew in it. Counter-Strike, a huge mental game. And right now, well, the Blue Jays, obviously, they saved a rifle. They've still got Num's AWP to work with, but they don't really have any money to invest around it. And this is so dangerous. The IZAKO boards now are on 12. They should be able to put themselves onto 13. Wow, that's a really rough round to lose.
Wow. Back into the action. Of course, only a sniper rifle saved in the hands of Num. He's going to have to go absolutely massive. We did see earlier in the game, I think it was Exus, just a massive ace with the M4 to put IZAKO boards first round on the board. That changed the momentum. I don't think we'd see a 12-8 or even a favorable scoreline for the Poles without that massive play to get things started. Here, these rifles, the quadruplet of AKs should just chew through these USPSs. Despite there being a single AWP in play, I don't think that Num's going to be able to get himself into a perfect position to even rack up multiple frags here. It's so hard as the single rifle to even get the job done. You've got to be so dynamic. And right here, IZAKO boards are just watching and waiting for it. Despite losing one member, the cleanup crew, they've got their dustpan and brush out.
Yeah, Shen's done well there to pick up those couple of frags, make sure that he doesn't fall there. Because if he does, they can actually grab themselves a couple of AKs and then just fall right back and save. And then they've got 2 AKs and an AWP to bring into the next round. Or even they take the 3 versus 3 and they actually try and make it work. Instead, though, 4v2 for them to work with. Dreamer just with the pistol, Num with the AWP, but they've gambled to the wrong site. And this is just going to be a free plant for the IZAKO boards and essentially a free round. I think it's definitely smart for Num to just go for this save call. No one on that side has got the money to invest in an AWP going into the next. So if they want to ensure they have one on their buy round, this is the call to make. But as Dreamer falls, they should be on the hunt for him now. They know what he has, and they want to get rid of it.
Massive change of pace here in the second half. I think letting go of that defuse is probably going to be a key momentum swing situation for the Blue Jays. Your mindset's got to be down in the doldrums after a really catastrophic round like that, and also a swing round as well, where the IZAKO boards, they're obviously able to take 2 off the back of it. We saw the tactical pause come through right after as well. 13-8. Those are the scores on the doors, and the Blue Jays need a show-stopping performance to pull this one back. I almost can't see it happening at this point. They'll get one final swing at a buy on this CT side. The double AWP setup will be the conclusion. And I think the IZAKO boys should be able to take this over the top if they break the buy just a single further time. I think the only saving grace for Blue Jays is that loss bonus is pretty much fully built up at this point. In the best of one, it feels like this is the IZAKO boards game to lose. I love the confidence from Avis. He's been going for this initial peak, just straight through to A with the AWP every single time. And realistically, Blue Jays know that he's going for these peaks at this point. They just don't know how to stop him. This time doesn't find a frag. So IZAKO boards are going to have to find them success elsewhere, and it's Teo to provide.
what I really love about it is it's not just Avis going for that first pick every single time. It's just whoever has the best spawn. And that's what's so good about having a team where everyone's pretty confident on that AWP. You've just got someone, they've got a decent spawn for the A main pick, and they say, right, there you go. You take the AWP, you go for that early pick. It's very, very nice to see. They also, of course, throw that AWP out of the map in that situation too. So nothing retrievable there for the Blue Jays, even if this round does go the IZAKO BOARS way, but they save a couple of players and they bring an AWP into the next. This is really BM plays right now from the BOARS. They've still got this man advantage, and well, they're just letting the Blue Jays stew in it. They're slowly but surely gaining control and picking the defenses apart as Shuey finds himself another 5-on-3 now. 30 seconds on the clock. They do need to speed this one up, but they've taken control of pretty much the entire A site, so this should be easy pickings for them now.
This really is Viscera cleanup simulator here on Train. They've got the squeaky rubber gloves, the Sillet Bang is out, the Mr. Muscle squeaking clean this CT side. And realistically, Zix, this is a shot that he needs to hit. And Shuey just waiting for him to make any sort of aggressive play, bamboozling the defense. And Zix, he is still stuck in Pop Dog. Just wait for, well, the nades aren't going to rain in, considering IZAKO BOARS don't have any left. Nevertheless, they're finding all of these shots. There's even Shane to finish things off, 14-8, and IZAKO BOARS on the home straight.
In that situation with Zix there, it is really a... it really showcases the whole Blue Jay situation right now on their CT side. They had a double stack over towards Pop Dog. Shuey didn't necessarily expect that. After he got that first kill, he just dropped down the ladder expecting it to be clear. And then even in that scenario where Zix has just got to connect a shot on a falling player, he actually whiffs the spray. Shuey's allowed to climb back up the ladder and just relay the info to his team. So Zix, where he's in a position where he could actually find a frag and then swing out onto site and maybe get another, he's just not allowed anything. And right now these pistols are being torn apart. This should be another free round for the IZAKO BOARS as they put themselves onto match point. And the Blue Jays, well, the question's got to be in everyone's mind right now that when it was, what, 11-8, that was the Blue Jays' round for the taking. It could have gone 11-9, breaks the economy of the BOARS, goes 11-10. And with this game have swung the other way. Instead, 15-8 now the BOARS sit. 7 chances to close this one out, and worst case scenario in overtime. So they're not going to be grumbling too much at all right here.
Yeah, when you make a mistake like that, you've got to kind of question the mindset. How much faith, how much trust do you have in your teammates? How much faith do you have in Numb to hit that shot? What was even more disappointing is he did hit the AWP shot. You should have been holding the defuse at that point, winning the round and taking this game a lot closer. Albeit, I feel like IZAKO BOARS have had a massively confident T side, so I don't know if that's going to be the only deciding factor in the result of this match, but it definitely does play a bit of a part. Here, 1 out of 7 will close this through for the Poles. We'll finally get a quick best of 1. This tournament so far has been overtime galore here in week 6. Doesn't look like we'll see another one here on Train. I think the CT side is maybe one of the only opportunities you have to make a comeback like this. CT sides of Nuke and Train, probably the two advantageous spots that you've got to make a comeback like this, but Blue Jays haven't really shown me anything in the way of a sturdy defense. They've been cut apart on every single regard, and while realistically there's 60 seconds left for IZAKO BOARS to get the job done, and they're probably going to hightail all the way into the A site, I would say, with Exus playing support with the AWP.
I think you may have jinxed it. It's definitely too soon to call, but this is how it always goes. It's a 15-8, a 15-9. You're like, yeah, this will just be a quicken, and then it comes back. It goes to overtime. It's similar to what we saw yesterday. However, the CT side did have a few more rounds. I think it was a 15-12 situation that went into OT. IZAKO BOARS, though, they are looking really, really confident right now. And as they stack up over towards this B site, they will actually be walking in a 3-man hold from the Blue Jays if they do commit to this, which they kind of have to at this point. There's 20 seconds on the clock. They have to smoke volley and charge in. Dream is able to find himself one, but as the flash comes through, he should get traded. Teo's there to find it. Excess with a follow-up. And despite the stack over towards the B site, the IZAKO BOARS have steamrolled it.
Beautiful entry. It felt like everything went right for Blue Jays there. The smoke landed perfectly with 20 seconds to go. That's when the round is pretty much over at that point. Dreamer gets fully flashed though, and well, that's the difference maker. The Orcs at least trying to swing inside. Rocking's going to finally drop, and 16